Welcome to Tech QA. Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing common interview questions you may encounter when applying for Playwright automation testing positions. We'll also provide detailed answers and tips to help you ace your next interview. Question 21. How do you handle authentication and authorization in Playwright? Answer 21. Playwright provides methods like set HTTP credentials and set extra HTTP headers to handle authentication in HTTP requests. We can pass the appropriate credentials or headers to authenticate our test scenarios. For authorization, we can simulate different user roles or permissions by interacting with the application's UI elements and verifying the expected behavior. Question 22. How do you handle mouse hover actions in Playwright? Answer 22. Playwright allows us to simulate mouse hover actions using the hover method. By targeting the desired element, we can trigger hover effects and interactions as if a user were performing them. This feature helps validate the behavior of elements that reveal additional information or trigger drop-down menus on hover. Question 23. How do you handle iframes in Playwright? Answer 23. Playwright provides methods like frame, wait for load state, and switch to handle iframes. We can switch to an iframe using its selector or index and interact with its contents as if it were a separate page. By switching in and out of iframes, we can perform actions and validations specific to the iframe content. Question 24. How do you handle pop-up windows in Playwright? Answer 24. Playwright provides methods like wait for event is closed and bring to front to handle pop-up windows. We can wait for a new window to open, switch to it using its handle, perform actions within the pop-up window, and validate its content. By managing pop-up windows, we can ensure the proper functioning of our applications. Question 25. How do you handle timeouts and delays in Playwright? Answer 25. Playwright allows us to set timeouts and delays using the set default timeout and wait for timeout methods. We can set a timeout for actions like navigation or element interactions to ensure they complete within a specified time. Additionally, we can introduce delays using wait for timeout to wait for a specific period before proceeding with the test execution. Question 26. How do you handle data-driven testing in Playwright? Answer 26. In Playwright, we can handle data-driven testing by leveraging external data sources like JSON or CSV files. We can read the data from these files and use them as input parameters for our test cases. By iterating over the data, we can execute the same test scenario with different datasets, validating the application's behavior under various conditions. Question 27. How do you handle headless and headful modes in Playwright? Answer 27. Playwright allows us to run tests in both headless and headful modes. We can specify the mode when launching the browser. In headless mode, the browser runs without a visible UI, providing faster test execution. In headful mode, the browser window is visible, allowing us to observe the test execution visually. Question 28. How do you handle file uploads in Playwright? Answer 28. Playwright provides the set input files method to handle file uploads. We can locate the file input element and use set input files to set the desired files for upload. This allows us to simulate the file upload process and validate the application's response. Question 29. How do you handle geolocation and permissions in Playwright? Answer 29. Playwright allows us to handle geolocation and permissions through the set geolocation and set permissions methods. We can set the desired latitude and longitude for geolocation testing and configure permissions such as camera, microphone, or notifications to simulate different user scenarios. Question 30. How do you handle browser-specific behaviors in Playwright? Answer 30. Playwright abstracts away browser-specific behaviors by providing consistent APIs across different browser engines. However, if there are specific browser behaviors that need to be handled differently, Playwright allows us to access the underlying browser instance and use browser-specific methods or properties to address those cases. Conclusion. Host. That wraps up our discussion on common Playwright automation testing interview questions. We've covered topics like Playwright's unique features, handling authentication pop-ups, element weighting, and browser-specific configurations. Remember, practice and hands-on experience are essential to excel in automation testing interviews. Stay curious, keep learning, and best of luck in your future interviews. Note, feel free to customize the questions and answers based on your knowledge and experience. This script serves as a starting point, and you can expand or modify it as needed for your video. Thanks for watching.